Hey there everybody, welcome to another one of these videos with You're Enough Yoga. For those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Sarah and I'm the founder of You're Enough Yoga in sunny, beautiful Brighton and Hove. Today's video is a video which is going to be quite short, probably between 15 and 20 minutes, and it's one where you can just use it if you feel like you just want a little bit of movement for your body, a little bit of movement for the spine. It might be nice and grounding for you if this is the time when you're having your period, or if you're feeling like you're maybe like a little bit pent up and you just want to feel held, grounded, with a nice bit of movement as well. So for this yoga sequence, for this practice, you will need either a yoga bolster, if you have one. You can see my one just here, this big purple thing. But if you don't have one, that's cool. You could just get 2 pillows from your bed and stack them on top of each other. So if you want to just pause for a second and go and get 2 pillows or your bolster, if you don't have them handy, you can just put them to the side for now, and I'll obviously let you know when it's time to use them. Okay, so let's begin this really nourishing, grounding, soft practice. Let's begin by lying down. We'll be lying on our backs. If it feels nice for you to lie almost flat with your legs extended, then please feel free to do that. It may feel softer and nicer, particularly around the pelvis and the psoas muscle, to have your knees a little bent with your feet on the mat. Have your feet nice and wide so they're almost lining up with the outer edges of your mat. Again, if that feels like a bit too much across the sacrum along the lower back, forget that. Just bring your feet in a little closer. Find what feels nice for you. We're literally just going to rest here for a few moments. And I invite you to close your eyes. Closing our eyes notes for the body and for the mind that it's time to go internal, to step away from external things, validation, clarification. And at this point, I will let you know that I recommend you use this video by following my voice rather than continually looking up for visual clarification, letting you go even more inward into your own practice. Notice any points on your spine where you feel nice and held by the earth underneath you. And if there happens to be any spots nearer the lower spine where you feel maybe a little curve in the spine, like I have myself, just see if you can tuck the pelvis under a little bit, creating more connection for the spine, the lower spine. Tucking the pelvis is like rounding it underneath you, like it's curling in on itself. Start to check in now with the breath. And there's no fancy breathing to do here, just nice and simple, in and out through the nose. Find where you feel the rise and fall of the breath on the body. Perhaps you notice the abdomen doming and falling on the inhale and exhale. Perhaps it's space across your upper spine, or the gentle gliding of the breath underneath the nostrils. Let's gently keep our attention on wherever you feel the breath. And if you decide, because this is your practice and whatever you do is enough, if you decide to spend the next 15 or 20 minutes lying down on your back, just observing your breath, I want you to know that you're still doing yoga. Especially if you are having your period. Definitely nice to be still and just observe. Turn your palms so that they're facing upwards towards the ceiling. And begin to sway the knees side to side. You choose if you want to experience small movements or bigger movements here. Starting to become aware of what your body needs today. Could be very different from what your body needed yesterday, for example. So swaying the knees, and the next time the knees happen to come towards the left, let them come towards the ground and stack your right leg on top of left. Draw your arms out to a T shape if you have the space. And if it feels okay for your neck, take a glance to the opposite side from where your knees are facing. Let's enjoy this twist. Returning the head back to center and bringing the knees away from each other, start to sway them. Feet on the mat once again, nice gentle sway. And in your own time, begin to set up for this twist on the other side. So both knees coming towards the right, one leg stacks on top of the other. And have a glance to the opposite side with the head. Bringing the head back to center now, bringing the feet and the knees back through center. Give your knees a gentle hug into the chest and a little rock side to side, just massaging those tissues either side of the spine. This central energy channel that does so much work for us. Start to extend your legs and arms overhead. Looks a little bit like an upturned insect, but in fact this is called gravity pose. Rotate the wrists. Rotate the ankles. You can bring your arms down by your sides now with your palms facing down. And start to cycle the legs like you're cycling a very heavy bike through very thick treacle. Float the arms up and the arms get involved with this cycling movement. So now it's like you're padding your way through this treacle with your hands, just letting the wrists, the elbows get involved as well. Almost like you're trying to travel across the ceiling. And gently float everything back down to the mat, knees bent, feet on the mat, arms at either side of you. And in your own time, roll over to your preferred side We'll spend a couple of breaths here. If one of your hands is on the ground, push into that hand to help you find your way up to a seated position. So finding yourself a nice, comfortable seated position. You can have your legs crossed. Be mindful not to try to have the knees sort of too far upwards. They want to be kind of grounding towards the floor. Sit back a little. Tops of the feet are rolling towards the mat. You can bring your hands onto your knees, tuck your chin towards your chest. And we're going to tuck the chin a little further down, rounding the shoulders, sitting back in your seat a little way. So we're concaving at the top of the spine. This is called your seated cow shape. We're going to reverse that movement, dropping attention down to the pelvis, tilting the pelvis behind, chest comes forward some, glancing forward. Seated cat. Let's repeat those couple of movements now, just undulating the spine. See if you want to match up these forwards and backwards movements with your inhale and your exhale. So really let the shoulders get involved if they want. Having the hands on the knees allows that to happen a bit more as the shoulders come forward and back in a bit more of a pronounced way. We'll take two more like this. Cat and a cow. Lovely. Coming back to sitting. Have a rock to one side and pull out any flesh from the sitting bones behind you and on the other side as well. Put the hands back on the knees and just roll the shoulders nice and leisurely backwards. Rolling them forwards. Really nice. Take an inhale a little deeper. Float your arms up above your head and make a prayer with your hands. Have a glance up at your thumbs. You're going to float one arm down to its opposite knee. So my right arm is coming to my left knee. And I'm going to be sliding my other arm behind me so that my fingertips are on the mat and pressing down into them, like creating a second spine behind you. Breathing here, and on your exhale a little twist, so you're going to be looking a little behind your retracted shoulder behind you. Softening now, relaxing, coming out of that twist, coming back towards the center. And we'll just bring the hands either side of the opposite knee. Chin tucks towards the chest, just countering that twist we did to one side. You might feel that through the opposite side body. Back to center. Float the arms up above the head, prayer above the head. Grow tall out of your hip bones. Armpits coming forward. We're going to take the twist on the opposite side now. So my left hand's coming to my right knee, right arm comes behind me. Tenting the fingers, making the second spine nice and tall, growing tall. Exhale, little twist. Have a glance behind you. And relaxing, softening, coming back through center. Bring the hands to the other side, just on the side of your left knee, countering that twist. And softly coming back to center. Really nice. Let's float both arms up above the head once again. Prayer above the head, and draw the prayer down the midline of your body. Prayer in front of the heart. Drop your attention down to the spot just in your pelvis, in your pubic area. Keeping your attention there, we're going to twist from that area over to one side. You choose which side you're going. Slow twist, sourced from the pubic area. Exhale, back to center. We'll take our twist to the other side. Back to center. So we can move from our seated position now. We're going to be going into tabletop, which is basically, if you're not sure, that is your knees are roughly underneath your hips and your wrists are roughly underneath your shoulders. It's kind of all fours position right here. Make it a little bit softer though, because we're going for softness in this practice. Have your wrists slightly forward of your shoulders. We're going to repeat our cow and cat shapes from when we were sitting. So what are we doing first? That's right, I forgot. We're going to go to cow shape first. So tilting the pelvis, belly dropping towards the ground, have a glance forward. Reverse that shape, tucking the pelvis under, rippling through the spine, pushing the ground away with the hands. Cat. Let's take a couple more of these at your own pace. Bring your knees a little further apart. Bring your big toes to touch. We're going to start to sit the hips, pelvis, sitting bones back, making our child's pose. Bring your forehead to the mat. And make a pillow for the forehead with your hands. Enjoying this sensation of compression in the front of the body. And actually the lengthening along the spine. You can rock your forehead along your hands. Parting your hands now, rocking your weight a little way forward, back into tabletop shape or something like it. Tuck the toes behind you. So on your next exhale, think some strong thoughts and hover the knees off the ground and sending your hips skywards now, lengthening the legs for downward facing dog. Keep it nice and soft. Keep a bend in your knees if you like. Catch your breath. And keeping your gaze on your toes now in your downward facing dog, walk your feet to meet your hands at the front of the mat. We're in a little forward fold now. We're not going to stay here too long because we're keeping things soft and not too strenuous. Start to crouch down so your bum is coming towards the mat and plop. Let your bum come down to the mat. Perhaps your feet come a little way forward like mine did. So sitting up, legs are extended in front, but they don't need to be poker straight at all. In fact, a little bend in the knee is nice. Sweep your arms up above your head, growing tall, reaching up through the side body. We're going to begin to melt the heart forward, leaning forward. Perhaps your head comes somewhere toward your knees, maybe it doesn't. You don't need to be trying to grab your toes or any of that stuff right now. Bring your attention to your spine and let your spine be what draws you up and out of this shape, keeping your chin tucked towards your chest. Give your legs a little jiggle up and down. Jiggle them to the side. Bring your hands either side of you. Start to walk your hands behind you, and we're going to counter that forward bend that we did with just a little extension. So rounding the shoulders back, lifting the heart a little bit. Have a glance up at the ceiling. Definitely don't be chucking your head all the way back. Softening now in the elbows, chin towards the chest. Draw the knees in front of you and really drape your body forward. Perhaps your forehead's on your knees. Lovely. Coming out of that compressed shape, sitting up, we'll bring the feet to touch each other. So you've got something like a diamond shape that you're looking down on in between your legs. Now, if you bring your feet in quite close to you, you're going to be making that diamond a bit more shallow, and it could feel quite intense across your pelvis. And if we're going for softness in today's practice, let's soften out the shape. So we'll keep the feet a little away from the body, so pushing them away. That diamond becomes a little longer. And if you want to tiptoe your fingers down your shins, you're going to be just drawing your heart forward. Take a very gentle touch or clasp of your feet, bowing the forehead forward. This is a version of a shape called Cobblers Pose. Slowly tiptoeing the fingers back up the legs towards your knees. Growing up and tall a little in the spine as the fingers come towards the knees, edging you out of that shape. If you've got your two pillows handy, and for me it's my bolster, so I'm just going to lean forward and get that now. We're going to create a supported child's pose for ourselves. So my bolster's going long ways on my mat, and your pillows can go the same way, stacked on top of each other. Your knees are kind of wide. Your big toes will be looking to touch each other, and bring your pillows or bolster a little close to you, so it's kind of just in between your legs. Hands are on the shins. Just give the shoulders a little bit of a roll backwards. It's releasing anything more that wants to be released, and roll them forwards. Nice. Bring your hands onto your bolster or your two pillows, and slowly creeping your fingers forward so the hands are going further away from the body. You're going to start to guide your whole tummy, your torso, and eventually your forehead onto your bolster. And if you're using your pillows, you can drape your body forward over your pillows. I recommend having your face to one side. Let yourself be supported here. And we'll come out of this shape now as slowly and mindfully as we came in, sliding the hands back towards you, carefully coming to sit in this kind of wide, low kneeling position. Slide your bolster ahead of you, or your pillows if that's what you're using, and you want to have it so that your bolster or your pillows is in line with your right hip. So feel free to look up at the screen if you need to at this point. My legs are off to one side to the left, and the bolster is next to my right hip. Very gently now, I'm just twisting my upper body towards the bolster, and I'm sliding myself along it, being supported in the side body. Again, face is turned one way on the bolster, and let yourself be supported in this kind of side child's pose situation. It's very loving and caring to let ourselves be supported by props. You don't need fancy ones, you can just use pillows, like I said. Slowly coming away and up and out from that shape. And we'll get ready to set up this shape on the other side. So bolster or pillows come to the opposite side, now to the left hip. Legs are going towards the right. Just line that up. We'll start in the center and carefully twisting towards the left, sliding yourself along that bolster, draping your arms over the end. Be supported. Definitely feels good to close the eyes here. And absolutely feel free to extend the time that you've spent in these very supported, restful, nourishing shapes. They're all so helpful for bringing in the body's relaxation response. Making our way out of this shape carefully as we came in. Coming back up to seated. Let's bring the legs out in front. We'll give them a little jiggle once again. Let's move the bolster to one side. We don't need it so much now. Bring the knees in towards you, and again, just slump, like melt yourself forward onto your knees. Perhaps your forehead comes there. Leaning back, exiting that shape. Once again, we'll bring the legs and feet into Cobblers Pose, so the feet are touching. Hands come to the mat either side of your hips. Let the shoulders roll back, little bit of a look upwards, heart shining forward. Feel free to lift your hips if that feels okay. Softening chin towards the chest, letting yourself return to the mat. And now we're going to just be heading towards that beautiful moment of the practice where we get to lie on our backs and chill once again. Again, if you want your legs extended, please feel free, but if not, knees bent, feet are on the mat. And know that everything you did here today in this practice is absolutely enough. We'll spend a few more moments here. Drink in this moment of simplicity to just be. And when you're ready, let the knees flop to one side, roll onto that side, press your hand down into the mat or your carpet, bring yourself up to sitting. No need to rush to open the eyes or anything quite yet. So here we are, sitting cross-legged or in a shape that feels nice for you. Roll the shoulders back. Roll them forward. Bring both of your hands together to touch in this prayer shape. And touch your prayer onto the center of your forehead. Slide it down your face and down your throat, and it comes to your heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope this was nourishing for you. If you have a look in the description underneath this video, you'll find my website and some different ways to connect with me here at You're Enough Yoga. Have a bow forward. Thank you so much for coming to practice today. See you soon.